Hello, dear listener, and welcome to this quiet space, a gentle pause in the ceaseless rhythm of your day. Tonight, as the world outside begins to hush, we will embark on a tranquil journey, exploring a concept that defines our very existence, yet remains, in many ways, an exquisite mystery: time. And in doing so, we will gently delve into the story of a remarkable human endeavor that sought to capture and chronicle this elusive dimension, a magazine simply named Time. Imagine, if you will, the bustling streets of New York City, nearly a century ago. The year is 1923. The air is alive with the promise of a new era, and within this vibrant backdrop, two young men, Britton Haddon and Henry Luce, both with a shared history from the Yale Daily News, dared to dream. They envisioned something entirely new for the United States: a weekly news magazine. Think of the ambition, the foresight, to distill the vast, chaotic stream of human events into something coherent, something readable, something that could be held in one's hands. Their initial idea for the magazine's name was Facts, a pragmatic, straightforward title. They wanted to emphasize brevity, to create something so concise, so focused, that even the busiest individual could absorb its essence in merely an hour. Picture that, a moment carved out of a hectic day, dedicated to understanding the world. But then, a subtle yet profound shift occurred. They changed the name. From Facts, they moved to Time. And with this transformation came a slogan that whispers to us even now, through the quiet corridors of history. Take time, it's brief. Let's gently reflect on that name. Time. Not the news, not the world's events, but time. This choice, dear listener, suggests a deeper aspiration. It implies not just a reporting about events, but an attempt to encapsulate, to hold, to frame the very passage of moments. To take time is to claim a piece of that continuous flow, to pause, to acknowledge, to comprehend. It's an invitation to step away from the relentless forward momentum, and to briefly hold the present in your hands before it inevitably slips into the past. For nearly a century, this remarkable publication fulfilled that very promise. Week after week, like a steady, rhythmic pulse, it arrived. A tangible artifact, a physical manifestation of a specific week, captured forever on its pages. This weekly rhythm itself mirrors the human perception of time, our calendars, our schedules, our recurring cycles. It gave structure to the boundless, helping us to measure, to anticipate, to reflect. Until March 2020, when it transitioned to a bi-weekly publication, a subtle shift, perhaps reflecting the changing pace of our digital lives, or simply, the ongoing evolution of how we choose to engage with the world's unfolding narrative. Yet, even in this change, the essence remains, an endeavor to mark the passage, to provide a fixed point in the endless stream. The first issue, a historical marker, debuted on March 3, 1923, right there in New York City. Can you imagine the excitement, the trepidation, the sheer audacity of launching such a venture? And for so many years, its direction was guided by the powerful vision of one of its co-founders, Henry Luce. He, along with Britton Haddon, had a shared ambition, but perhaps a differing temperament. Haddon, described as carefree, enjoyed teasing Luce, seeing the magazine as important, yes, but also as something intrinsically fun. This led to a rich tapestry of content, balancing serious news with heavy coverage of celebrities, politicians, the vibrant entertainment industry, and the ever-evolving landscape of pop culture. This blend, dear listener, offers a fascinating insight into our relationship with time itself. Do we not, in our own lives, experience a similar duality? Moments of profound seriousness, of global significance, intertwined with the lighter threads of everyday joys, the cultural currents that define an era. The faces that capture our collective imagination? Time, the magazine, understood this human truth. It recognized that to truly capture a week, to truly chronicle an era, one must embrace both the weighty and the wonderfully frivolous. A core philosophy emerged from its very inception. Time set out to tell the news through people. Until the late 1960s, a single individual graced its cover, a chosen face to represent the currents of that particular week. This tradition culminated, and continues to resonate, in its immensely popular Person of the Year issues. Think of what this means, philosophically. Instead of merely reporting abstract events, Time chose to anchor them in human experience. It understood that history is not just a series of dates and decrees, but a tapestry woven from individual lives, choices, struggles, and triumphs. The very first cover, a historical echo, featured Joseph G. Cannon, the retired Speaker of the House of Representatives. A single figure, elderly, distinguished, representing a lineage of political influence. A snapshot of a moment. And in a beautiful act of temporal reflection, on its 15th anniversary, in February of 1938, a facsimile reprint of that very first issue was included with the current magazine. Imagine holding that original content, seeing the articles, the advertisements, the very spirit of 1923 laid bare. It's a journey back, a tangible connection to a past moment, reminding us that time, though constantly moving forward, leaves behind echoes, imprints, and memories that we can revisit. The cover price, a mere 15 cents then, equivalent to about $2.83 in our imagined future of 2025, also tells a story of economic time, of changing values and the slow, steady march of inflation, another subtle yet powerful demonstration of time's relentless influence. Following the passing of Briton Haddon in 1929, Henry Luce emerged as the dominant force, shaping not just Time magazine, but becoming a truly significant figure in the vast landscape of 20th century media. His vision, his drive, truly steered the ship. And alongside him, playing a crucial, almost equally important role, was Roy Edward Larson. He began as circulation manager, later general manager, and eventually president of Time Incorporated. Larson was the one who tirelessly worked to expand the magazine's reach, to ensure that its weekly chronicle of time could find its way into more and more hands across the nation, and eventually, the world. Think about the enormity of this task, dear listener. To not only gather and synthesize the news, but to distribute time. To ensure that this carefully curated snapshot of a week, printed on paper, reached people in diverse locations, allowing them to collectively engage with the present moment. This effort itself is a testament to the human desire for shared understanding, for a collective awareness of where we stand in the grand narrative of time. The reach of Time magazine extended far beyond the borders of the United States. In London, a European edition, Time Europe, began to be published, extending its gaze to cover the Middle East, Africa, and Latin America. In Hong Kong, an Asian edition, Time Asia, took root. And far across the waves, based in Sydney, the South Pacific edition chronicled events for Australia, New Zealand, and the Pacific Islands. And looking into the near future, the text tells us that Time France is set to begin publication in 2025. Consider this global tapestry, this intricate network of editions. It speaks to the universal nature of time itself, yet also to the diverse ways in which humans experience and interpret it. While the hours and minutes flow identically across the globe, the events that fill them, the cultural lenses through which they are viewed, differ profoundly. Time magazine, in its global editions, became a remarkable tool for both local relevance and a shared, broader understanding of the human condition, an attempt to synchronize our collective consciousness across continents and cultures, all within the framework of a defined temporal unit. The creation of such a powerful media enterprise required vision, yes, but also substantial resources. The early days saw the founders raising funds from wealthy Yale University alumni, including influential figures like Henry P. Davison, a partner at J.P. Morgan and Company. It highlights how the powerful currents of finance, industry, and media converged in the early 20th century, shaping the very narratives that defined their time. This intricate web of financial backing, with J.P. Morgan retaining a certain control through directorships and stock shares, illustrates the complex machinery behind the seemingly simple act of publishing. It shows that even the pursuit of chronicling time is deeply intertwined with the material realities of our world. Roy Larson, a Harvard graduate, joined the Yale alumni Luce and Haddon in 1922, bringing a different intellectual lineage to the burgeoning enterprise. After Haddon's death, Larson's purchase of shares from his inheritance further solidified his significant role. He became the second largest stockholder, a constant, influential figure by Luce's side, crucial in the development and expansion of Time Incorporated. It's a reminder that even in the most visionary endeavors, the contributions of many individuals, often unsung, are vital to success. Larson's genius extended beyond mere print circulation. He understood the rapidly evolving media landscape of his time. As Time began its weekly publication, Larson brilliantly leveraged emerging technologies to amplify its reach. He brought Time into the nascent world of U.S. radio and even utilized movie theaters worldwide. Imagine, dear listener, the power of a voice carried through the airwaves, summarizing the week's events, drawing directly from the pages of Time magazine. As early as 1924, Larson initiated a 15-minute radio quiz show called Pop Question. Think about this in the context of time. A quiz show is an engagement with memory, with past information, a test of how well we've absorbed and retained the facts that have unfolded in previous moments. It's a playful yet profound way to interact with the accumulated knowledge of time. Then, in 1928, he introduced a weekly 10-minute radio program, delivering brief news summaries drawn directly from the magazine. This was a groundbreaking move, bringing the printed word, the carefully crafted narrative of time, into the auditory realm, reaching millions who might not have otherwise encountered the magazine. But perhaps the most significant of Larson's innovations was the 30-minute radio program, The March of Time, which began broadcasting over CBS on March 6, 1931. This was not just a summary, but a dramatization of the week's news. Each week, listeners were treated to vivid, dramatic recreations of the most significant events. Let us gently ponder. The March of Time. What does it mean for time to march? It suggests a relentless, purposeful, often unstoppable progression. It evokes images of soldiers, marching forward, one step after another, never pausing. This dramatization, this auditory experience, allowed listeners to not just hear about events, but to feel them, to be immersed in the unfolding narrative of their present moment. It highlighted the dynamic, active nature of time, not as a static backdrop, but as a living force shaping human destiny. This innovation was not merely about advertising the magazine. It was about transforming how people experienced the news and, by extension, how they experienced time itself. Radio, with its immediacy, compressed the gap between an event and its reception. It allowed for a shared, simultaneous experience of the present, in a way that print, while enduring, could not. The dramatizations tapped into our inherent human need for story, for narrative structure, to make sense of the ceaseless flow. They presented the week's events not as isolated facts, but as interconnected episodes in an ongoing drama, helping people to orient themselves within the grander march of history. Think of how this impacts our perception of time, especially as we prepare for sleep. During our waking hours, time often feels fragmented, rushed, demanding. We jump from one task to another, our attention constantly pulled in different directions. But in the quiet of the evening, as we slow down, we often seek to gather these fragments, to make sense of the day, to process the events that have unfolded. The March of Time, on radio, and Time magazine in print, offered a structured way to do this collectively, to reflect on the week that had passed, to see its shape and meaning. And now, as we draw closer to our own present moment, the story of Time magazine continues to evolve. Since 2018, it has been owned by Mark Benioff, the innovative founder of Salesforce, who acquired it from Meredith Corporation. He now publishes the magazine through his company, Time USA, LLC. This transition, dear listener, signifies another subtle shift in the ongoing story of how we capture and define time. From its early print-centric origins, through the age of radio, and now into an era dominated by digital information and global connectivity, time continues its journey, adapting its form while holding true to its core mission, to provide a lens through which we can understand our world, our present, and our place within the grand, sweeping narrative of time. So, as we gently bring our journey through the history of Time magazine to a close, let's reflect on the profound implications of its very name. Time. It is not just a chronicle of events. It is a monument to the human endeavor to understand, to organize, and to preserve the fleeting moments of our existence. It's a testament to our inherent need to make sense of the past, to live consciously in the present, and to anticipate the future. As you drift now towards sleep, allow your thoughts to gently unfurl. Think of the passage of your own day, the moments you've lived, the experiences you've gathered. Each one, a small, precious entry in your personal chronicle of time. Just as Time magazine sought to capture the essence of a week, your mind, as it rests, will process and integrate the essence of your day, filing away memories, preparing you for the unfolding of a new tomorrow. May you feel the calm, steady rhythm of time carrying you gently into a restful night. May your dreams be peaceful, and may you awaken refreshed, ready for the fresh pages of your own unfolding story. Good night, dear listener. Rest well.